the key thing about this is, if you look at, for example, with the distribution to petrol stations, the shortage of drivers is a much smaller number, 100, 200, 300 drivers. So we're not talking about the 5,000 for that. That's also for the food sector as well. So as I say, there isn't a dramatic shortage in drivers. In fact, it's been like this for a long time. It's only if you create a situation where people start to queue, other people see the queue, and on it goes. Fortunately, when it comes to tanks of petrol in people's cars, unlike, for example, toilet rolls or pasta at the beginning of coronavirus, there's only so many places that you can only store a single tank of petrol. You can't then store it elsewhere very easily. So this will resolve itself. But I'm very keen to put in place this massive package of measures today to make sure that people are reassured. And in return, we're asking people to be sensible, only fill up when your car actually needs filling up, and this would then resolve itself. Well, actually, it depends on how people respond, and obviously we've got a massive package of different alleviations in place. There is plenty of fuel. I've checked with the 6 refineries and 47 storage centres we have in this country, and we're not short of fuel, as you rightly described. It's just about the panic buying which is preventing it from being available sometimes immediately as you want it, and we're seeing these queues which don't need to be there. So this package, which deals with the short term, with things like visas, and I'm calling in the army to help process more DVSA, that's the licensing itself, to get that through the short term, and then the longer term, which is big reform of the sector that's required, because there's been a systemic shortage of drivers across the whole of the economy, made much worse by coronavirus across the whole of the world. I've said all along, we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure that things flow in this country. That's what you'd expect us to do. It is unfortunate, and you're right. We don't want to be relying on overseas labour in the longer run, which is why this is limited to Christmas, because we've got to sort out these long-term problems with our HGV sector, which has been around for years, by the way. And I'm afraid the thing which has sparked this particular sort of rush on the petrol stations is some fairly irresponsible briefing from one of the road haulage associations, which seems to have got this going. As I say, there is.
Sorry, you're blaming the Road Haulage Association. You're blaming the Road Haulage Association for spreading panic. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I see in the newspapers this morning that they briefed out from a meeting that they attended. One of the features of the situation we're in is there's been a shortage for a very long time. So this is nothing new. But as soon as you say to people, there's a shortage, people tend to react, and it's not required. There's plenty of petrol in the country, as I say. If we all go back to buying petrol as we would normally buy petrol, this big package is going to do some things in the short term. And as you point out, I'm doing some things that we wouldn't necessarily have wanted to do, because we believe in fixing this market for the long term, so that the drivers are paid better, and we welcome that. We think it's a good idea for drivers to be paid more, and the conditions are better.